What if you're not supposed to know the answer? We spend most of our lives chasing certainty, in relationships, in careers, in identity. As if somewhere out there, beyond the next book, the next video, the next plan, lies a final answer. A solution that will bring peace. An explanation that will resolve all doubt. But have you ever noticed that the more answers we gather, the more questions emerge? It's as if life is not a puzzle to be solved, but a song to be heard. Alan Watts once said that trying to define yourself is like trying to bite your own teeth. The very act of reaching for an answer pulls you further away from the experience of being alive. Because being is not a problem to fix. It's not a riddle with a neat solution. It is mystery, unfolding. And yet, we're conditioned to fear the unknown. We've been taught that if we're not in control, we're in danger. That not knowing is weakness. But what if not knowing is sacred? What if the unknown is not the enemy, but the doorway? The ancient Taoists spoke of Wu Wei, the philosophy of non-doing, not inaction, but effortless action. A state of flow where the river moves, not because it tries, but because it yields. This is not about giving up. It's about giving in, not to chaos, but to life as it is. And here is the paradox. The more we cling to answers, the more we suffer. The more we trust the unfolding, the freer we become. In one of our previous videos, Face Your Shadow, Carl Jung's secret to becoming whole, we explored how confronting the unknown parts of ourselves leads to true transformation. And now we take it further. What if the deepest healing doesn't come from understanding everything, but from surrendering to what can't be understood? Stay with this question. Sit with it like you would sit beneath a tree, watching the wind in its branches. No need to analyze the wind. Just let it touch your skin. What if you're not supposed to know the answer? We are raised in a culture obsessed with control. From early childhood, we're taught to plan, predict, and protect. Control becomes a shield, a way to keep the unexpected at bay. But Alan Watts reminds us, the desire for security is an attachment to certainty, and certainty is the denial of life's natural movement. Control is, in many ways, an illusion. We think we are steering the ship, but perhaps we are the wave being carried by the tide. And in that surrender, not of responsibility, but of resistance, there is a kind of peace no strategy can give you, to live without needing to know how it will all turn out. This is the ultimate courage, not because it's reckless, but because it's honest. No plan can account for everything. No map includes all the terrain. And yet, we fear the spontaneous, the mysterious, the open-ended. We want GPS, not wilderness. We want answers, not silence. But the wilderness is real, and silence speaks if we can stop talking long enough to listen. When Watts spoke of life as music rather than a journey, he was inviting us to dance, not march. In a journey, the destination matters most, but in music, the beauty is in the unfolding, in each note, rising and fading, never clinging to the next. So why do we keep asking, what's next? Why do we hurry from moment to moment as if the present is just a stepping stone? This question is rooted in fear. The same fear we explored in Synchronicity, Carl Jung's hidden signs that guide your life. The fear of missing meaning, of not getting it right, of being out of sync with some hidden cosmic pattern. But sometimes, the most meaningful thing is the pause, the breath, the unknowing. The mind is a problem-solving machine. It survives by analyzing, comparing, anticipating. And it does this well, until we ask it to solve life itself. Life is not a math problem. It's a wild garden, messy, fragrant, untamable. But the mind wants to prune it into order, to cut away the unknown, the contradictory, the wild. This is why we can't stop thinking. Why we lie awake at night replaying conversations, projecting futures, imagining worst-case scenarios. Because the mind is trying to solve something that doesn't want to be solved. Watts once described the mind like muddy water. The more we stir it, the murkier it gets. But if we let it sit, it clears. This is the paradox of peace. It comes not when we find the answer, but when we stop needing one. The mind will scream that something's missing, that we must act, fix, move. But beneath that voice, there is a deeper current. The stillness you feel when watching falling snow, or listening to rain, or sitting by the ocean. That is the wisdom of not knowing. It doesn't shout, it whispers. We live in the age of FOMO, the fear of missing out. Social media, advertising, and even spirituality often whisper the same message. You are not enough. You are not there yet. You need more. But Alan Watts invites us to miss out, beautifully, to not go, to not strive, to not upgrade. There is a joy in missing out, the joy of missing out. Because when you step back from the race, you begin to hear your own breath again. You begin to see the ordinary as extraordinary. A cup of tea, a quiet morning, the way sunlight dances on the wall. You stop scrolling and start sensing. Think of someone sitting in a quiet cafe without their phone. Not because they're waiting, but because they're being. Around them, people rush, multitask, update stories. But they sip their drink slowly, noticing the flavor, the warmth, the moment. That is presence, and it looks like doing nothing, but it is everything. Or imagine choosing not to attend the popular event, and instead walking barefoot through a local park at dusk, hearing birds, feeling the wind. No audience, no achievement, just life. Raw, vivid, intimate. The fear of missing out dissolves when you realize you are only missing the now, and when the now becomes enough, you are free. Imagine a river flowing, effortless, fluid, alive. Now imagine placing a rock in its path. What happens? The water doesn't fight the rock, it flows around it. We, on the other hand, tend to become the rock, rigid in our beliefs, fixed in our expectations, demanding that life move according to our script. But life is the river, and peace comes not from controlling its flow, but from becoming like water. This is Wu Wei, the ancient art of allowing. It's not about passivity, it's about trust. A trust so deep that it doesn't need guarantees. A trust that says, even if I don't know where I'm going, I will keep flowing. Think of a job you didn't get. At first, it felt like failure. But months later, it led you to something more aligned. A path you never would have chosen on your own. Or a relationship that ended, leaving pain, only for you to discover parts of yourself that had long been forgotten. The mind saw it as loss. Life saw it as rerouting. Flow doesn't mean you drift without direction. It means you stop resisting what already is. You learn to dance with reality, even when the rhythm changes. Just like a river doesn't question the rocks, it just moves. Seeking is beautiful. It's the engine of transformation. But it's also the trap. The more we seek awakening, the more we reinforce the idea that we are not yet whole. Watts often laughed at the spiritual seeker, not to mock, but to remind us enlightenment is not a prize. It is the joke we finally get when we stop taking the game so seriously. So what if there is no answer? Because you are the answer. Not the version of you that has it all figured out, but the version of you that breathes, feels, forgets, and begins again. Stop seeking, and you may realize you've arrived. Many people go on silent retreats hoping to find peace, but often, on day 3, their mind rebels. Boredom, frustration, longing arise. They expect transformation, but all they find is themselves, raw and unfiltered. That's the real teaching. Not a flash of enlightenment, but the quiet recognition that there's nowhere to get to. You were already here. Think of children. How they play without purpose, explore without asking why. They are fully in the moment, not seeking, just being. Watts reminds us that life is not a quest with a goal. It's a play, a dance, a jazz improvisation. And when you let go of trying to transcend the human experience, you begin to touch the divine within it. Surrender has a bad reputation. We associate it with defeat. But real surrender is not giving up. It's waking up. It's the moment you stop wrestling with life and start dancing with it. It's when you put down the sword and open your hands. In our video, Why You Don't Know Who You Are, Carl Jung on the Persona, we explored how much energy we spend trying to be someone. But surrender is returning to no one, to presence, to peace. And in that space, you are free. Not because you found the answer, but because you've stopped needing one. Think of someone finally leaving a job that never felt right, even though it paid well. For years, they fought the growing discomfort, rationalized it, forced motivation. But the day they let go, not with bitterness, but acceptance, something shifted. Space opened. Not a plan, not certainty, but lightness. And with time, something more true began to form. Surrender is not passivity. It's deep listening. It's letting life speak, not shouting over it. Watts once said, "Muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone." Surrender is allowing that stillness to do its quiet work. There is a kind of grace in letting life unfold. Think of the seasons. Spring doesn't rush to become summer. The moon never hurries through its phases. Why should we? We are nature too. But we've forgotten how to move in rhythm. We force ourselves forward. We pressure ourselves to know. But what if we honored our own seasons? Maybe right now, you are in winter. A time of stillness, not clarity. That's okay. Seeds sprout in the dark before they ever reach the light. Let the unknown do its work. Consider the person who feels stuck, unsure what comes next. Our culture says, push harder. Make a 5-year plan. Be productive. But what if the soul is composting something? What if this stuckness is sacred? Watts reminds us that you cannot force a flower to bloom. You can only create the conditions. And so it is with your life. To let life unfold is not to be lazy. It is to trust the intelligence within chaos. To recognize that meaning often comes after, not during, experience. And that unfolding may be the answer we've been chasing. There is a space between who you were and who you're becoming. A space between letting go and arriving. It's uncomfortable. It's disorienting. But it's also sacred. Don't rush to fill it. Alan Watts would say that this space is not empty. It is fertile, like silence between musical notes. It gives shape to the melody. This is the space where the soul breathes. Trust it. Transitions are strange. You've left the shore but haven't reached the other side. It's like floating in fog. No clear vision, just trust in your feet to touch land again. But some of the deepest insights come in this liminal space. After the breakup, but before the new love. After the loss, but before renewal. It's here that you meet yourself. Not the version you perform, but the one that feels everything raw. Let this space be spacious. Don't try to name it, label it, fix it. Just be in it. And in that stillness, new roots grow. In the end, maybe the answer was never meant to be found, but lived. Maybe your task was not to conquer mystery, but to become intimate with it. To hold questions like old friends. To walk with wonder. To rest in the great not knowing. Let this be your mantra. I do not know. And I am at peace. The clouds do not know where the wind will take them. And still they float. So breathe. Let go. And remember, what if you're not supposed to know the answer? You were meant to be the question. And that question, pulsing quietly beneath your daily life, is more alive than any fixed belief. Not knowing keeps you open, keeps you curious, keeps you soft. The hard answers calcify. The living questions keep moving. Like music, like love, like laughter. So when you don't know, smile. Because in that moment, you are touching the essence of life. There is no finish line, only this unfolding mystery, and your place inside it. If this reflection resonated with you, if it gave you even a moment of stillness or clarity, consider liking the video, sharing it with someone who might need it, and subscribing to The Art of Being. We explore the beauty of inner life, one quiet question at a time.